It's time to plant the potatoes, guys. That's what's going on at Noah's house. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to the garden. It is beautiful. It is April 14th. We got a little chilly last night. It's not as bad as it's been, but I checked my soil temperatures. I think we're about right for planting the potatoes. Ooh, lots of bees in the box over there. So I got my potatoes out. I think the beds are ready. And I was thinking, you know, it's time. We got to get this going. We got to get the potatoes in the ground. Now we are due for some storms tonight, which is fine. They'll get rained on. They'll get rained on. But I don't know. I think it's time. I think it's ready. I checked in some of my old notes, and I'm actually a little late planting, but wanted to hold off till the soil warmed up. So I think I'm ready. So I'll spin you around. I'll show you my little bit of setup here. Okay, guys, here we go. As you guys saw before, I got my beds amended. I got my grids on, and I have my potatoes. Look at them. All chitted, sprouting. That is such a funny word to say. Look, I really took my time this year. But I have a purple variety, Purple Majesty, when I put those in. I have a white variety, Silverton. And I am doing a red variety. I am doing, oh, I can't get the tag, Red Norland. So I'm going to put one potato per square. And then like here and here, I'm going to put cabbage plants. Now, I don't know if I'm going to put my cabbage in today. I might give it a go. The moths aren't out just yet, but I did see one the other day. But I have a netting situation I'm planning on going with. And there's a car. Oh, I got my microphone and didn't put it on. I tell you what. Okay, check it out. I got my microphone on now. I finally charged it up. Okay? You, over there. Relax. I told you I'd do it. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I showed you the potatoes. Look at... I am just thrilled about how these things are. I think once I put them in, they are going to jump out. So, I had a... I don't know, New Year's resolution, something you want to say? Hey, Lou. There's a dog barking in the background, so Lila's walking around. I said I really have to mark my stuff better this year, because I always end up with, what is that? I mean, I figure out once I get fruit and stuff, then I'll think something's, you know, some more worse not, and blah, blah, blah. So, Douglas Brule, he's a guy I follow on Instagram. And he has wonderful front yard garden and pollinator garden and everything. And I noticed that all of his stuff was marked with mason jar centers. So I messaged him, I was like, hey, how'd you do that? And basically you just bought a punch set with letters and numbers. And you get yourself a little hammer. I'll show you. And you just kind of punch in what you want. Now if you're like me, and first off, can't talk. If you're like me and can't spell, make sure you got the right letters and make sure they're oriented the right way. But I did just write purple, white, and red on these lids. I just pounded that in. And then I drilled a little hole in them right there. And I am either going to put a screw to hold them on the outside or something on the inside. I'm not really sure. But this is how I plan on marking what potatoes are where. I mean, I will figure them out once I dig them up what they are. But hold on a second. Lila, she likes that one bed over there. She just wants to constantly go over there and sniff and dig and mess around. Hello. She's a little lost since we lost our other dog, Carl. She's still kind of moping. It's been about a month and a half or so. Okay, I'm going to lay these out and get an idea, because I'm going to try to plant them with the big belly. I got to go on a diet, guys. I'm gonna try to do them on an angle. Hi, Lou. Hi, sweetie. So I'm gonna do like a white, a red, a purple, and then a purple one. You know, I want to mix them up. I don't want to have, because these get different amounts of sun, amounts of shade, stuff like that. So I want to kind of have them mixed up. I do plan on getting some of these trees cut this year. Although we say that every year, don't we, Lou? But we're planning on getting some trees trimmed up, cut, taken out. We just kind of have to do it. So, give me just a second, and let me get these guys all laid out. You want to help, Lila? I bet you do. Okay, I have them all laid out, and I ended up doing a red, white, purple, and then a purple, red, white. So that is the layout, how they're going to be. It's pretty soft. I just amended all this. I'm going to get a trowel. I'm just going to wiggle down, and I'm going to put them down, how about, I don't know, what is that, 5 inches or so? Because as they grow up and do their thing, I'm planning on, you know, throwing some compost, amending them, you know, to keep them going up. I did only put one per. I had some smaller ones, and I have some extra ones. I have several purple and a couple red extra. So I actually have a couple ideas. I'm going to put some extra potatoes just to grow over there. And that's kind of how I started with my front wall with the tomatoes and everything, because I did it kind of as an experiment. It turned out the front wall out there is great for growing garlic and everything. Ooh, it's getting windy. And the bees are all over the place today. So I'm gonna get my trowel. I'm kind of gonna figure out how I want to wiggle and get them. I'm not gonna be digging a big hole. And I think I might mend it with a little bit of bone meal. Actually, a little bit of blood and bone. Man, I'm not sure. I actually kind of did that before. I don't know. Well, hey, give me a sec to reorganize, get a trowel, get everything. I'm real excited to be planting potatoes, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna use a trowel, and I'm basically, look at that. That is just awesome. Got more eyes. I'm gonna stay in the center of my 1 foot thing. I'm gonna wiggle some. I'll get a little deeper than that. Wiggle some dirt all the way, and there we go. That's all I'm gonna do. So I have math I can't do, amount of potatoes I'm gonna have to plant. So I'm gonna get to it. Okay, well, let me pop a squat right here. So there we go. And I just realized one thing I didn't do was lay my plant markers out. What did I tell you in the beginning of the video? It was like my New Year's resolution. Label your plants better, Noah. But I can figure out what I had where. Well, I'm gonna get planting all these, and I'll check in at the end, and I'll show you what the whole thing looks like, and I'll give you a little, show you kind of how I mounted my plant markers. Wow, there's a lot more potatoes than what I thought. See you in a bit. Okay, guys, everybody is in the ground. Look at them back there. Now, I'm gonna plant cabbage in there. I've read some things that say, I've read other things that say, So I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna put in 2 per side, so 4 per bed. But I was gonna plant them out today, but we are due, to get some storms tonight with a lot of rain and blah, blah, blah. Well, the potatoes are good. They're underneath the, the compost over there. But I don't want my cabbage plants, which I'm no even longer calling them seedlings because they're so beautiful. They're big. I potted them up, and I'm excited to put them in there. But I'm not going to put them in today because of the storm that's going to come through this evening. So, wait, let's go over here. I wish I could spin the camera around to the other one without pausing the video. Apple, if you're listening, why don't you try to do that? 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, guys, here it is. Everybody's planted out. Look how nice and soft and amended it all is. And like I said, 9 per side, 18 per bed. How beautiful is that? Let's see if I can't do this. No, can't do that. Okay. But right here on that X, I'm going to put a cabbage plant. And right there, I'm going to put a cabbage plant. Because that should give us enough room in between where they can grow and flourish and do their thing. And if I put 2 in there, and I put 2 in there, and 2 in there, 2 in there, 2 and 2 and 2, I'm going to leave the grid up because I do want to really hit that mark right there, because I don't want to come over and mess with the potatoes coming up. Now, they're not real deep. Man, I can never talk when this camera's on. They're not real deep, the potatoes. They're down a few inches, maybe 4 inches. And I didn't cheat. I didn't put 2 or 3 per 1 foot. I only put 1. Oh, and I'm going to show you this. This is what I decided to do with my plant tags. I have that hole, and I just, right there, so you'll know right in here. I did want to give it, look at that. So that way I should know what's in there. Oh, let me wrap this up. Okay, guys, that's it. That is planting out the potatoes this year. Check out the choy in the background. Oh, I'm getting excited about that. Lettuce I put in the other day, they're doing all right. Was it too early? I don't know. Well, hey, I'm excited. Like I said, I can't wait to see the potatoes popping up, because once they do, they're real thick and you see them big shoots. The one bed that's lower, I don't really have a compost to fill it up more, so I figure what I'm going to do as they come up, I'm just going to throw some compost around there, and I'll kind of hill them up as need be, but not to mess with the cabbage plants. Look at that. How exciting is that? It's warm out, potatoes are in the ground, and, well, that's that. Well, hey, from the garden, planting potatoes. I'm Noah. Thanks for stopping by.